Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday night and we are getting ready to do our peanut butter roll, redo the video for the peanut butter roll, and this is also the night that we actually give the product away, so I'm going to give a few minutes for everyone to get on here. This is our 12 days of candy making with Mitch Bailey, so just give a few minutes as those of you all that are coming on. Remember, tonight we are going to be giving this peanut butter roll away. So I'm going to try to make sure that tonight's video I share some tips with you that kind of go towards all of the comments and questions that you've had from the original video that was completed back in November the 25th, which kicked off our first day. Hopefully I'm going to go through this video and you're going to actually, I want to put the camera down so that you can actually see more of what's happening in the pot, the saucepan, and within the mixer, so that you can pick up on some of these tips. I hope everyone's had a good day today. We got a little snow here this morning, so it looks really Christmassy. It's always nice to see a little snow in the morning. We had our district luncheon today, and it looked so Christmassy with just a little bit of snow in the trees. And I did take a lot of the candies that I've made on the show to that that luncheon today, and unfortunately they're all gone. So they do enjoy these candies at our work luncheon. So let me just kind of get you down here and tell you what I've already got set up. Remember, the peanut butter roll recipe is up on Mitch Bailey's Recipes for Success Facebook page. It's a simple recipe. I've got 2.5 cups of granulated sugar in here in my saucepan, and I've got it over medium heat right now. And I added my 2/3 cup of corn syrup, which is the white clear corn syrup. And I also added the 1/3 cup of water. And I actually have a spoon, and I have it on medium heat right now. I'm just kind of getting it processed here on medium heat because I want it to kind of have the heating element warming up. Normally what I do is I get everything mixed, and then I'll turn it up on high heat so that it can actually process faster. So let me kind of just bring you down here and show you what I also have in regards to how I've got this laid out. So hopefully you can see what I've done here. I've got my mixture in my saucepan here, as you can see, and I always get this mixed with a spoon. I just find that a spoon will mix it better. I just don't like to take a spoon and lay it out on the countertop. I'm going to put it over here in this plate so it's not making a mess. But I do have a spatula here so that as it starts cooking, I'll be able to process it. Here is the candy thermometer that I have. Now this is a little bit more expensive candy thermometer than just the barrel thermometers that you can get at Kroger's or Walmart or your local dollar store. But they're about $4 or $5. This one is a little bit more expensive. It costs you about $20. But the reason I have it, it has a really good, you can see it. As we get older, our vision kind of goes. So it just allows you to be able to see it, and it has the markings that shows you the soft ball stages, the hard ball stages, and the hard crack and the caramel settings. I also have the saucepan lid laying out tonight. I did not show this to you in the last video, but I wanted some of the questions that have come up is my candies are somewhat grainy. I'm going to show you how you can use this saucepan lid to prevent that from being grainy. And another thing that I have here is in my little measuring glass here is a teaspoon of clear vanilla flavoring. And as you can see, it's clear. Now you don't have to have clear. I have clear because I just think that the clear makes your Definity be much brighter and much much more wider in color, because the vanilla flavor does give a little tint to it. It doesn't give a lot, but it does tint it a little bit. If you use the clear and you can compare it to using the vanilla flavoring, you'll see a big difference in the tinting of your Divinity after the finished product. And I also have the peanut butter here ready and the confectionery sugar over here. And I've got already here in my mixer. Let me shift you over here to my mixer. I have already here in the mixer the actual egg whites, the 2 egg whites. I've already separated those eggs, and separated the whites out, and they're sitting here. Now, let me tell you this. Always have your egg whites at room temperature. It will give you a better consistency in regards to your egg whites fluffing up and forming those peaks. So you need those peaks in order for this Divinity to be able to take that hot syrup and be able to not collapse on you. What I mean by collapse is the sugar, the hot syrup, and the egg whites are not beat to consistency of a peak, and as a result, the egg whites will collapse and will not hold the Divinity in the state that you want it to hold after and when the final product cools down. So I have it on medium heat right now. Some of you, and it's not boiling, so we're fine. Normally I will turn this up to high and let that syrup cook really fast. But in a minute I will do that. But I just want to be able to go through these things with you and be as explicit as I possibly can, so that you will be able to finish your own peanut butter roll and have a success with it. Some of you have already sent me pictures that you all have already been very successful in creating this, and some of you still say that you need a little bit more help in regards to getting it to turn out for you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mixer on. I'm not going to let you watch egg whites beat, but it's going to get a little loud in here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this mixer up on high, and it's going to start beating these egg whites, and I'm going to show you what's going on in this pot here. So, as you can see here, let me bring you back down here to the pot, the saucepan. This sugar mixture is kind of got up here on the side of this. This is called crystallization of sugar. And when that happens, that crystallization of syrup is what gets stuck to the sides of the saucepan. As a result of that crystallization, that is always going to stay on that saucepan unless you stir it. Now, if you stir this mixture, you're going to pull that granulated sugar back off that saucepan. But regardless of how much you do that, and you wipe that spatula just like I did, you just recrystallize this. So what I do, if you can, is I watch it really close, and I try not to wipe this. But if you're making anything like a fudge or anything, you can see the steam starting to come out of this pan, saucepan. What you can do is take that cover and cover that saucepan. That steam will take that crystallization that's around this saucepan away, and it will make that go back down, that syrup get hot enough, and those crystallized sugars go back down into your actual pot. Now you're probably going to say, well, how are you going to monitor it with the 250-degree thermometer? Now I put my thermometer inside my saucepan, and then that way I have the crystallization done, and I also have it. You don't stir anymore at this time. Do not stir this anymore. Just let it cook and monitor your 250-degree candy thermometer. Monitor this. Do not stir this anymore. That will cause that syrup to get up there again and crystallize. Now let me show you what these egg whites look like right now. I'm going to turn those off. Let me see where we're at on here. We're good on this in regards to the temperature. And as you can see, those egg whites cling to that whip. Those are done. Those are whipped to a firm peak. When they cling to that egg beater like that. Now, if you don't have one of these mixers, you can always just make sure that they form a peak and pull them up. So you like little peaks of mountains when you pull your beaters up. Now, I have gotten at 240 degrees right now. I am not stirring this at all. I'm just letting it cook. When it gets 250, I'm going to stop the cooking and take it off. I'm going to keep my exhaust off so that we will not hear that, so we'll have some better audio. So let me kind of just monitor this right now and see where we're at. We're about 242 right now. Now, I left this on a medium heat to come to a boil. If I had put that on high, it would have automatically been already at 250 degrees. Now, today is probably, it's not a great day for candy making, but it's not a bad day. There is some moisture in the air from the light snow that we got earlier today, but you should be fine. Most people will say, I'm not going to make divinity when it rains. If you look at some of these old recipes, people will warn you, don't make candies like this on wet days that have a lot of moisture and humidity in them. So right now, this is at almost 250. So I'm going to bring you back down here. Remember, I had a spoon, but I'm not going to reuse my original spoon because it's got crystallized sugars on it as well. So I'm going to use a clean spoon. And remember, if you don't have a candy thermometer, you can use that thread method. See that thread that's starting to form on that spoon? You can actually see it when I pull it up. See that? If that spins you a thread, see that thread here? That is good. See, I'm going to take that off the heat. I'm going to pull that over there so you can see. See that thread? You can whip it around that spoon. You have a thread there. That mixture is ready. Now, this is another thing that I do. Right before I start putting this mixture into this mixer, I'm going to fluff air back into those egg whites. Turn that back on high. I'm going to remove my candy thermometer and put it over here in some hot water to let it get that syrup off. And I'm going to slowly add this. Now remember, this is key. Do not pour all of this mixture in these eggs. This will cook these eggs. You will have white scrambled eggs. Put you a little, almost like a teaspoon. Drizzle it in there. Let those eggs get tempered. This is called tempering of eggs. It allows the eggs to raise to the temperature at the same rate as instead of overpowering cooking them. It's raising the temperature of this meringue. And I'm adding about a tablespoon at a time. Do not rush this process. Now, if you were doing this with a hand mixer, same thing. Now, what I do, if you do not have a hand mixer, cut this recipe in half, and it will not intimidate or overwork your hand mixer. Cut it in half. And as you can see over here in my mixer, I'm going to pull your mixer as close as I possibly can. So that you can see this. I'm going to walk around here. That mixture is looking like marshmallow. But as you can see, I still have a lot of syrup still in my pan. You see where that's dripping? You can actually see that sugar. Turn it down a little bit so that it won't be so loud on you, so you can hear better. And at this point, those egg whites has been able to be tempered, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn it down low. And I'm just going to put a slow, steady stream of that mixture in to that mixing bowl. Now, that mixing, do not scrape this, because if you do, you've got some crystallized sugars on the sides. So don't scrape this saucepan. Just let it drizzle out and then return it to hot water. Now I'm going to add my tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. I will tell you, when you add that vanilla flavoring inside that bowl, it will fill your kitchen up with the best smell that you can possibly have in your kitchen. Now, as you can see, let me turn this off. That is halfway done. I'm going to take a clean spatula and I am going to scrape the sides of my bowl. Right now, you just have basically whipped marshmallow cream. Now, this recipe, if you've ever heard of a frosting, it's called a 7-minute frosting. You can use this to decorate cakes, and this makes actually a frosting, and it's called a 7-minute frosting. You beat it for 7 minutes, and that way you have a frosting that will cling to a cake. If you like a marshmallow-based frosting. And I'm turning that up on high now. And I'm just going to let you watch it cook, beat there. I'll clean up the kitchen while you watch this beat up, and I'll watch the screen here and hopefully be able to see if you've got any questions as it's coming up on the screen. I always keep a paper plate close by because that way I can always lay my spatula over there. It doesn't get all messy on my counters. And it's just a waiting game right now. Now, you can cool this mixture down faster. When I touch this, this bowl is hot because we put 250 degrees syrup inside here, so this is really hot. So let me show you how to cool this bowl down. You can just take a cold dish towel and just rub your bowl. And this is going to cool that bowl. I don't know if Santa's going to bring you a KitchenAid mixer this Christmas, but if you do, and if you don't have one of these, I advise if you do any baking or any cooking, I would just invest in this type of mixer because you won't go wrong with it. There's a question on how long you allow this to beat. Well, I have never timed it, but the 7-minute frosting is beat for 7 minutes, and it's on the same recipe, the basic recipe of this. You beat this until it loses its shine, and you also beat it when you hear it. And you're probably going to say, well, Mitch, you're crazy. This will actually talk to you. It will tell you when it is done. And people laugh when I tell them that, but this will actually talk to you and tell you when it's done, because it's making a sound right now of a mixing. It's a smooth sound, but as it starts getting almost completely done and ready to be taken out of the bowl, it will make a mixture of like a flopping, like you're taking something that's flopping in the bowl, something really thick, like a real thick batter. It'll go plop, 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 plop. And that's how I can tell when it's almost done. And I will tell you this, when it starts doing that flop, flop, flop sound, I will usually pull it out and stir it. And with my spatula, let me show you what I mean by that. I'll turn it off. That mixture is not done yet because it's too creamy. It's almost done. So what I would do, let me pull it up here and let you see. See that shine? It's still got a little shine to it. Pull it over here so you can see it. See, it still has some shine to it, but it is almost there. So when it starts clinging like this, and the reason I go in and I stir this is these bowls are very deep. So when you pull that mixture out, you've got mixture on that whip, you've got mixture in that bowl. This is cooling at a different rate than this is cooling. These beaters are cooling faster because this is more exposed to the air. But down here in this metal bowl is holding heat. There is nothing up here to hold this heat. So I allow it to be beat again, and I let that air get down in there, and it will cool it faster. Now, do you hear that flopping sound now? I'm going to turn it. Now listen to how this sounds now. Hear that flop, flop sound? It's actually going flop, 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 like a flat tire. Now I'm going to check it again. And let me show you what it looks like now. See, as it's starting to cling on there? It's almost like when you go to Dairy Queen and you buy a Blizzard and they turn it upside down. See how that is holding? It's clinging there. It has lost its sheen. It's almost like a satin color now. A dull. See how that looks on the outside? So this is what I'm going to do. This, when I can manipulate that divinity like that, I'm going to take that and I'm going to put my mixer back down in there, and I'm going to turn it on low speed, and I'm going to pull that beater up, and I'm going to let this mixer sling or whip off as much of that divinity as I possibly can get whipped off. Now, if you've got little kids in your house, they would love that beater, to eat that beater. But there you go. See that? That will cut. When you see that divinity looking like this and clinging, this is done. So I'm going to take this over here. Nobody in my house will eat this, so it's going over here in the water because it will set up. So let me show you what it looks like in here. I told you tonight I'm going to let you see in these bowls and these saucepans and not keep the video on me. But as you can see, it's set up. So I'm going to shift you over here to the other side and get you caught up on what we're going to do over here. That was hopefully as smooth transition as I possibly could do for you. So let me show you what I've got here. People's asked, what size of cookie sheet do you use to put that out on? Well, I measured this one tonight. The bigger your pan, the bigger your roll is going to be, and the thinner that you can make it. The smaller, the thicker your roll is going to be. Now, you're not going to use a lot of powdered sugar. This is probably about as much as powdered sugar you're going to use for this. But this was a 10 by 15 pan. So I'm just going to lightly dust this. Now I'm going to really show you some techniques on rolling this tonight. And concentrate this like in a little center here. You've got this out here, not as much. But you're not going to dump all that here. It's going to be in the center of this. So as you can see, I've got a big marshmallow ball there. If you've got that consistency, you've got it right. Now I'm going to take this and put it over here in the water. Always keep me a sink of water when I'm making this, because guess what? This stuff is sticky when you let it set. I almost forgot my I was a little late getting my everything prepped in the kitchen tonight because Allison cooked spaghetti when she came home from work for Chance, and as a result, I didn't get in this kitchen, get everything prepped about 15 minutes before we actually went live. So let me show you what I've got here. So I apologize for having to walk around and get some things out of the kitchen to do this. So take your powdered sugar and lightly dust this. I think these are one of the best little tools that you can have in your kitchen. I've got different sizes, and then that way you can actually sift. Whenever you sift your flours and your sugars, you're going to have a lighter texture to anything that you bake or make. So I recommend sifting everything. Even your biscuit flour when you make biscuits. And as you can see, another thing that I do is I'm going to put a little bit of that powdered sugar on my hand. I'll be neat with this. Just like when you're making biscuits. It's almost like a biscuit dough. See how that, I wish you could feel, but I can actually pick it up. It's like biscuit dough. And I'm going to resaturate that with some powdered sugar, because that mixture is still hot. This dough is still hot. And I'm going to form it so that it will shape almost like a square. And the reason I'm shaping it like a square is because my pan is a rectangle. Now, I have a dough roller. Like I told you, I've got a dough roller. I pull that drawer over there and show you that I've got a dough roller. But I use just a smooth glass. And the reason I use this smooth glass is it's just easier to manipulate. I like it better. You can do things in your kitchen without having a lot of fancy tools. Now I'm going to put some powdered sugar on that glass. And I'm just going to start rolling this out. Now you all have sent me comments and said, oh, watch him roll that out. He does it like it's nothing. And when I do it, it doesn't turn out. But watch what I did. I rolled from one side to the other side. And the reason I did that is to be able to get this to now go down the middle. And I will have a push that divinity out so that it will evenly cover every little corner of my cookie sheet. See how that went in there? Now I'm going to do this side. I hope you all are enjoying these videos. I have really enjoyed doing these for you over the holiday, the Christmas season. And did you see how that pulled? That pulled a little bit up. That means that there's not enough powdered sugar there. So sprinkle your little powdered sugar on that. Pat it down. And that'll take care of that little blemish. But what I was saying is I've enjoyed doing these videos for you. I hope that you continue to follow me on Facebook, but I will be putting out a YouTube channel. And it'll have a different, it just won't be candies. I do know how to cook more things than just candy. As you can see, I need to put a little powdered sugar there. Rub it in. This is not, don't be intimidated by this divinity. Do not let it control you. Do not let it scare you. It will do what you want it to do. You just have to manage it. And use your hands. Those are, I shouldn't wear a sweater tonight to demo this. But I was telling you, we had our Christmas luncheon today at work, and as a result, I wore something a little festive. I didn't change when I come in from work. And as you can see, I've got that completely from one corner of the pan to the other. And guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to consistently roll this in the middle to distribute that so that's all level, all the way across. And the reason I like using a glass for this is it's just easier to manipulate. Now let me show you a little tip. I'm going to bring you down here really close. I didn't get to show you this tip the last time. So I'm going to bring you way down here so you can see this. I'll actually pull it over here. You see this saran wrap or plastic wrap? I'm taking that and laying it over that divinity. See how I'm doing that? Increasing it. Look what a pretty nice edge I have to that. Do the same thing. Take the saran wrap, Look what a pretty nice edge. That pretty nice edge means no rough corners, no ugly ends when you're actually rolling this out. You know, some of you rolled it out and you had some floppy ends. That's why those little floppy ends occurred, because you didn't, it's just a technique that I have learned. And see that powdered sugar on here? I'm going to take my hand and I am going to rub that excess powdered sugar into that sheet of Divinity. This peanut butter roll recipe, it has been shared and downloaded. Over 15,000 people have downloaded this video. One of the things that I cannot do is I cannot put the recipes up. I have to go over them with you on the videos, because I just don't have time and to write all these recipes up and then put them up there. This is just something that I do on the side that I enjoy. But there is my finished, and you can touch that now. It's as smooth as a little baby's bottom. Now, a lot of you ask, how much peanut butter? I don't know. I put enough peanut butter on here until it's your preference. But let me show you what I usually do. I will put probably about 2 tablespoons per dollop. And I will usually put me 5 on there. And then I'll have 1 on my spoon. And then I'll start pushing that peanut butter. And I do it at a diagonal and work out and pull in what I want. Now, be very careful when you get to the sides here, because you've got to get your peanut butter level too, in order for your layers to be nice and neat. Some of you said, I had big old layers of peanut butter in the middle but didn't have any on the ends. Well, you pushed everything to the middle, and when you rolled it, that's what happened. So work inward, outward. So if you're working inward, outward, you're going to have an even, smooth layer of that peanut butter. And as you can see, I'm pulling it into the middle again. And working outward. Pulling in and working out. So I would say that was a completely brand new jar of peanut butter. I say I used about 1.5 cups. And another thing too about recipes, you can download a recipe or get a recipe off of anybody's website. The thing is you cannot put everything in a recipe on how to make it, because there's certain things that you just learn by doing and watching. And you make recipes your own. Remember I said the first successful recipe that you have, the very first ingredient that you have in any recipe is yourself. That should be your first ingredient. And as you can see, that peanut butter is evenly distributed over that entire pan of Divinity. I'm going to go throw this in the sink. And I'm going to rinse my hands off and come right back. I always like to keep nice, clean hands between the different steps, so that if you've got product on your hand and you start wanting to roll this up, or anything, that's going to probably get over and you're going to mess it up. Get peanut butter, it's not going to look as pretty. And as you can see, I can pick that up. Now this saran wrap, see that peanut butter is almost, it's starting to melt. This stuff is still hot. And as you can see, I'm taking that and starting my roll. But I let that wax paper, I mean not wax paper, that plastic wrap, aid me in that process. And I'm going to use this wax paper to pull that candy roll. Wasn't that simple and easy? See how that's pulling that? Look how pretty these ends look. See, that row is all, and don't do that. Don't drop your plastic. If you do, drop it down over there and cover it up so that peanut butter won't get on there. But see how that roll is looking? There's not a lot of powdered sugar on that. And if there is, you'll be able to let it fall into the peanut butter and it'll add some layering separation in your roll. Continue to roll it. And I don't know if you just noticed, when this starts getting out of shape for me, because gravity has a mind of its own, I use my thumb to push that back to where I wanted it to be. These are techniques that you're just going to learn on your own, and techniques that you're going to share with your kids or your family members as you teach them how to make this. If anything has happened, technology has allowed us to share more and hand down things to people that we normally would not be able to. So this peanut butter roll, see how smooth? Now I could have rolled that peanut butter roll in this direction. It's just you're going to have a longer roll, but it's going to have not as many layers. But I like nice, pretty layers. And as you can see, that's got a pretty shape. And see, I'm rolling that saran wrap up. Now, if you downloaded my recipe to this, none of these tips are on there. You're not going to get any of those, because if we did, that recipe would be 5 or 6 pages long. And as you can see, there's that peanut butter roll. Let me hold it up here. See how those nice edges look? Take your hand, smooth it out. Somebody's going to be winning this tonight. And that peanut butter roll is done. It is completely done. So that would go into the refrigerator. I normally, some of you have sent emails or questions about how long does this last? Should you refrigerate it? This is always refrigerated at my house. And the reason why it's refrigerated, it allows that divinity to firm up. In about 2 hours, you'll be able to cut that. I would not cut that divinity until the next morning. You can cut it. I cut a roll last night because I had to individually wrap it for our luncheon today so that it would be wrapped in individual pieces. But normally what I do is when I take this, I will take it out of the refrigerator, let it sit at room temperature for about an hour, take me a thin blade knife, a really thin blade knife, like this, no serrations, and I would cut this. I would cut 2 slices. I would have me a paper towel, a clean paper towel. I'd wipe my blade clean, cut me 2 more slices, wipe it clean, cut me 2 more slices, and then that way you've got those pretty cuts with no serrations of peanut butter laying on the sides. So, Perry's in there wanting to talk to us. Do you hear him? I don't know why he's barking. He's 13 years old and he's blind and can't hear, so he's just probably barking in the wind. So forgive me for Perry's interruption. But that's how I would cut this product. It will probably anywhere from 3 to 4 days. If you put it in the refrigerator, it's going to last you longer. About 7 days, the sugars do start to crystallize naturally on their own, and as a result, you're going to have a tougher, chewer product. This particular product right now, if you cut it, it would probably be the consistency of marshmallowy. But putting it in the refrigerator and letting it get cool for about 2 hours or overnight, you're going to have a really nice, firm roll that you will be able to set out on the counter from anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and you'll be able to slice beautiful slices. And you'll be able to take them to your parties, your Christmas parties, and you'll be a hit. I try to answer all of my messages that have been coming, but I'll just be honest with you. There is so many messages and so many comments that are coming in regards to these videos. If I don't get to answer some of those, it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I just don't have time. But I surely do appreciate all the comments and all the questions. People have asked me if I will sell this peanut butter rolls or any of my candies. I am currently not selling any of those products. I don't have time to make these products, and I would not want to give anyone false hope of saying, hey, will you make me one of these, and not be able to make it for you. So, like I said, this peanut butter roll is going to be given away tonight. So let me tell you what we're going to do. When I put this together, I wear this apron here, and it says Recipe for Success. And the reason, when I made my page, I was going to name the page Cooking with a Mama's Boy, because I shared with you the very first night that this is something that I shared with my mom in the kitchen. I shared my old cookbook. The pages are actually falling apart. But I don't know if that would have been catchy enough in regards to people wanting to watch a mama's boy cook. So there's a lot of mama boys out there. And if you're a mama's boy, be proud of it, because if you still have your mama around, tell her that you love her, and thank her for everything that she's done for you. But another thing, the reason I have this Recipe for Success is cooking and teaching someone how to cook is something that no one can take away from you. It's like reading. And most of you know that I am an educator. I work as a special education director in a school system. And before that, I worked in business. I was a manager of a restaurant. I was a manager of a shoe companies. They're no longer in business. It wasn't that they went out of business under my watch. I was long gone before that. But anyway, I went back to school and became a teacher. I knew that I always wanted to be a teacher. And as a result, when you teach someone something, that's a gift. And another thing that I have is I'm a literacy specialist. I worked for the State Department for 11 years and traveled all over Kentucky being a literacy coach and literacy specialist, teaching teachers how to teach kids to read and those best practices. And one of the things that we had each summer is we had professional development trainings for teachers. And one of the themes during that summer, and it was, I'm going to give a shout out to my teachers in Morgan County, if anybody's watching. We had, they gave me this apron, and it said Recipe for Success, because reading is a recipe for success. If you teach kids how to read, they're going to have a gift that no one can take away from them. I see one of my old colleagues from KDE on here, Brenda. So Brenda can contest to that. If you teach a kid how to read, and that's something, a gift that they're never going to lose. Just like cooking, you're going to give a gift that no one can take away from that individual. So get in the kitchen and share these things, because these recipes will enforce literacy, comprehension, problem solving, all those things that we want our kids to learn and be able to apply when they get out of school and whatever they decide to do when they leave us from our school buildings. So this apron comes from about 15 years ago from Morgan County school system, well, longer than 15 years ago, almost 20, and they had a recipe for success, and it was teaching kids. We had a recipe for success of teaching kids across this state, and we still have that passion this day and time. Any teacher, we value teaching reading. So if I can give a plug for anything in regards to teaching, this is my platform. This is what I stand by. So I wore this apron during some of the shows, and some of the shows that I did not wear it. Remember, the clue was, I said I will always have the clue on. So let me tell you how we're going to play this game. The first person that can tell me how many days I wore this apron in each video. Remember, the very first video was the peanut butter roll. So that video and every video that we have done up to day 8, there has been this apron on. But I did not wear it in every episode. So what I want you to do is tell me how many days, and I already see the correct answer up there. Heather Spade, you have won this peanut butter roll. Heather Spade, send me a message, and I'm going to get this peanut butter roll sent to you and deliver it to you in some way. So send me a message on Messenger, because Heather Spade, you have won this. It was 5 days. 5 days that I wore this apron. The very first night and tonight, 5 episodes. So Heather Spade has already won the peanut butter roll. So Heather, make sure that you send me that message, and we'll talk tonight, and I'll get this sent over to you. So congratulations to Heather. I hope you've enjoyed watching these videos. I hope you share them with your families. I hope you get in the kitchen and do these recipes with your kids and make memories that's going to last them a lifetime. I will not be back on here next Tuesday and Thursday of next week, because it's going to be a hectic week. It's going to be a holiday, getting ready for the holidays and everything. So I don't think anybody wants to tune in here on Tuesday and Thursday night of next week and watch me do candy making. But there will be some videos that will be continuing to go out for 12 days of candy making, but they will be recorded. And you'll be able to watch those. I also will put a message back on my Facebook page if you continue to follow me on Mitch Bailey's Recipe for Success, to tell you what nights I will be doing live videos. And those live videos will be concentrated on other things than just candies. I have a lot of recipes that I'm anxious to share with you all, and I am anxious for you to learn them so that you can share them with your families and your friends, because when you're cooking, you're giving a little bit of yourself back to the people that you're doing it for. And that's where the appreciation comes back twofold back to you, knowing that you are making somebody feel good about what you're giving them. So Heather Spade, congratulations for tuning in and watching. I know that you've sent a lot of messages to me and shown me some of your products, so I appreciate all of those of you that are following and watching. I want to say this: Merry Christmas, and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I hope you're safe and you're blessed, and I hope that you get in the kitchen and make some memories and use some of these recipes, and continue to send me messages and postings on my page telling me how you're doing with these recipes. Remember, please follow and share these recipes and like the things, because that allows it to be shared more on Facebook and more people get to be able to see it. So we've had viewings all the way over in Japan. So if you enjoy these, continue to follow and watch what we come up with next. Like I said, once again, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you after the holidays. Have a good night.